Happy Friday. I hope everybody's having a good start to the weekend. Today we'll discuss very important topics that happened this week and very odd coincidences, and then you can decide for yourself what do you think about that. A high-ranking employee of an American diplomatic mission has been killed in Ukraine. This happened this week. She also had access to very highly classified documents and held the highest clearance possible for the U.S. So what exactly happened to her? According to the documentation provided by Ukraine, she was struck by a train, which is very odd. She was wearing shorts and a t-shirt and running shoes. And apparently, in order for her to be hit by the train had to be made a sharp turn, which is not exactly possible where it happened. So the only plausible scenario is that it was a sabotage and somebody possibly pushed her on the train tracks. She is not a junior member. She's a seasoned member of diplomatic mission, which I said she holds one of the highest clearances. At the same time, she was alive but taken to a hospital and died there. Her injuries were not possible to survive and were not possible even if she was transferred to the best hospital in the West, she would have not survived. Also, Ukraine has horrible Medicare care, but nevertheless, this is not a case in this case. The injuries that she sustained are pretty horrific, so there was no possibility that she would survive. Nevertheless, this is where it gets very interesting and very unique in this kind of circumstances. Poroshenko, who's a former president of Ukraine and known as a Candy King, his wife posted a day before a poster, which was more of a commercial poster, wearing all white, standing the train tracks were going through her stomach and kidney region. And actually, if somebody wants to know, that white is actually for mourning in China. Nevertheless, I'm not saying that she's into Chinese traditions or anything like that, but the day before this killing occurred, which is still under investigation, so there's no information that she was specifically pushed or killed, she posed that image of wearing all white and train going through her stomach. It's faded in the image. And it is quite concerning because the train tracks posted on her poster would not be too far from where the American diplomat was killed or died. I mean, at this point, it's unknown. What is interesting is, why is the EU and everybody else is not voicing concerns, and why is the leaders of nations like Germany and France are not making more waves pertaining to this? This is a very serious matter, especially when U.S. diplomat gets murdered in Ukraine. I mean, people saying it was possibly an accident, so that's why I'm being very cautious. I believe it was a foul play. However, for everybody else involved, and this is my opinion, so obviously it's not substantiated at this point, it is possible there was a really bad accident, but nevertheless, the circumstances surrounding it is very suspicious. Also, Poroshenko was under many indictments by NABU, which is the anti-corruption organization that was established with the help of the West and Uliana Supra. Additionally, Poroshenko was facing another, possibly more charges coming up. And also, this member of the diplomatic mission knew a lot of information pertaining to Poroshenko as well. She met with him before, and there's possibilities that he could have possibly been afraid what she actually knows in regards to his previous dealings, because his cases are quite serious, even though it's not highlighted in the Western press as much, because there's a lot of other topics. For example, Navalny's poisoning has been on forefront of all the news, based on the fact that he possibly was poisoned by a variant of Novichok. Well, it was actually confirmed it was a variant of Novichok by German and other Western European labs. But nevertheless, this is where it gets tremendously interesting. The image, what a coincidence can the image be? It almost sounds like, premonition? No way. So it almost sounds like she knew what's going to happen, and it was like, a day before, tasteless presentation of such. I mean, how coincidental could it possibly be? I mean, sure, there's coincidence in the world, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist on my channel. I'm not trying to say anything of the above. But nevertheless, anybody would agree with me that this is a very odd scenario. She's never posted such posters before. Such posters were never made for her before looking like that, because I even looked and compared on previous posters that she appeared. None of it had that type of connotation. One would think it's a very odd set of circumstances and fate that such could occur. Nevertheless, this is still a very big concern. Obviously, Ukraine mentioned that they're investigating. President Zelensky said it's his priority to investigate what happened. Obviously, Ukraine is taking it quite seriously, but at the same time, how safe are you in any of those countries? Look at that. Navalny was poisoned by some type of Novichok variant. And we're not going to discuss if it's Kremlin, if it's oligarchs, Chechen leader Kadyrov. I posted a video on Wednesday pertaining possible involvement of Chechens in this. I will leave the link at the bottom of this video. But nevertheless, this is a very odd situation what happens there. It's almost unsafe to be a diplomat, a visitor in any of those nations. But again, it does not happen that very often. US diplomats do not get killed in former Soviet bloc. This is not a common occurrence. This is a very odd occurrence and with very, very ill trajectory at this point because, as I said, when you look at the Google map where the incident happened, when you analyze and compare it, how would the train have this accident? He did not go off tracks. It was not a tragedy. It was not any errors that the train somehow weird and odd timing. And obviously this would be plausible but very unlikely to believe unless, the train operator could possibly be involved and was already involved in this and basically was a co-conspirator. Also, one fact to point out, nobody can find this operator of the train since the incident happened too. Obviously, he will be located, I'm sure, but why go in such hiding? I mean, yes, possible fear, but nevertheless, he is in hiding. This engineer is nowhere to be found. And usually, don't forget, trains also operate with 2-people crew. It's usually not one person. So where's the other person? Has he already given his testimony? Has he given his account? Is there additional information? This is not even released. This is not even talked about. All is mentioned, well, one operator of the train cannot be located in Ukraine now. Well, what about his partner? Because there would have been 2 people operating the train. Also, what about everybody else? Is there additional witnesses? What does everybody know about this? Well, I would love to hear everybody's opinions. Please click like. Subscribe to my channel. You can also read my articles under Kristina Kitova at thecommunalnews.com. Thank you and hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Thanks again for watching.